yes, is, and that's on my chest. Miss Spivey is the best, and I can't take credit, I just happen to be blessed. I got a message to share, listen if you dare. Don't follow the shadows, look up and see clear. I swear it's like Plato's allegory of the cave. How can I free people who choose to be slaves? I try until they put me in the grave. I promise the world I save. I'm focused.
Today I am in Washington, D.C. at the White House. There are a number of protesters who have gathered to show their concern about the execution of Troy Davis. Just in a matter of hours, this man will die at the hands of the United States government and the state of Georgia for a crime that he was convicted of 20 years ago. Now, despite the evidence being shaky, actually there is no physical evidence at all, and many of the witnesses changing their stories, tonight he will more than likely die.
I'm here because Troy Davis, even though the people who came against him and said that he killed the man, they reneged what they said, and still he's being executed at 7 p.m. today, which is injustice. And I really don't feel safe in the legal system today if somebody could just say whatever they want and it could be proven to be not true, but I could still be killed for something like that. And it just doesn't make sense. That's why we're standing here, Howard University students. We're standing up for what we believe in. There were 13 students that were arrested just now because they refused to remove themselves from in front of the White House. And so now we're just standing here and we're raising our voices because the First Amendment says you have a freedom of speech. So that's what we're doing. We're here raising our voices for injustice.
Jesus, Jesus, yes.
We're out here right now because Troy Davis is about to be wrongfully executed. An innocent man on death row in Georgia is about to be wrongfully executed. I'm from Georgia, and I know a lot of people there who are against this execution right now. 7 of the 9 witnesses recanted their statements. One person came out and said that he did it. What's wrong with it? It's something wrong with the system right now, and something needs to be fixed.
I'm out here today rallying in support of Troy Davis, not only in support of Troy Davis, but rallying against an institution that is outdated and that many other well-developed countries throughout the world have long done away with. Troy Davis is simply a martyr for the cause. If Troy Davis died tonight, we want everybody to know, look at what's going on out here. The movement won't stop just because one man is executed. The movement is going to continue on, and what people need to realize, everyone from the Pope to William Sessions, former FBI head director, to Bill Clinton, to President Carter, has come out in support and have said there's just too much doubt. So how can we in 2011 in the United States of America sit here and support the legal lynching of a man who is clearly innocent? It's wrong, and it won't happen on our watch. Troy Davis might lose his life tonight, but we're going to fight in the name of Troy Davis to make sure that injustice is met with justice, to make sure that racial inequality is met with voices. We're going to continue fighting.
It's not about me, and you better be the father.
I must say that I am very proud of us for gathering here today and showing our support, coming together. If we could only unify, strategize, and organize, maybe we could get more done.
And that's exactly what we saw. We saw people come together, organize today. The students at Howard University did a great job at demonstrating their interest in seeing this man live. And it is approximately 8 o'clock, and as far as we know, here in the studio, 8 p.m. today, September 21st, that Troy Davis is still alive.
And that's a great thing. And it's a great thing to see people, youth come together for something positive. You have older people, you have even the youth within themselves always doubt, you know, how we don't protest like the older generations did, or we don't stand up for anything. And that's huge. This is Howard University in front of the White House. You know, you're going to make the biggest noise in front of the White House protesting. So I think that was a great thing, showing unity within young people. We do care about, you know, social events. We do care about things more than clothes, reality shows, all the other stuff. It's a lot of young people that cares about the well-being of society.
Right, and the young ladies that I had the pleasure of interviewing, they were very passionate about this. They really did care. You could tell that it was something that meant something to them. And like you said, it seems as though it's somewhere, even in my mind, this morning I even tweeted something to the effect of, it's unfortunate that we don't gather and we don't unify like the our past has, the civil rights era did. But today I was just so happy to see those young people out there raising their voices. I believe 13, while I was there, 13 kids were arrested, college students were arrested. But for the most part, it was a peaceful demonstration, and I do think that they accomplished what they wanted to, which is hopefully having him to live a little bit longer. But the thing about it is, honestly, I say, what happens even if he does get to live? Will he be freed? He's been in jail for approximately 20 years. Troy Davis has been in jail for 20 years. He was convicted of a crime of shooting an off-duty police officer. And as they already said in the video, the evidence is a little sketchy. The witnesses are sketchy. But it's 20 years later, and the real deal is capital punishment. And are we really still going to murder people? That is premeditated murder. Even if it's the state, if it's the government, they purposely kill someone. That's premeditated murder. Can we still, as a society, you know, do this, especially when we are not for sure that he is responsible for it?
Absolutely. On our money we have, in God we trust. And our country was built on all of these laws about the people and God and Christianity, but it really doesn't show that way in our laws. One of the 10 Commandments is, you know, thou shalt not kill. But, you know, we have this system where some states you can kill, some states you can't. I guess it depends where you live or not, if you're going to be killed, you know, or not. And that's, you know, that's debatable. People have their opinions on that. But this is somebody who's going to be killed who it has no evidence, well, it doesn't have clear evidence shown that he was the killer. And somebody came out and said that they actually did it. Someone, 7 out of the 9 people said that, you know, they were pushed into it, that they would take back what they said, and that they really had the police kind of, you know, pushing them to do, you know, or say or do certain things there. So, I mean, when you have that much evidence that doesn't equal up, how can you put somebody to death, you know, for sure? If you put somebody to death, you want to make sure, well, the law says you want to make sure it's, you know, absolute, definitely, you know, that person was murdered, no, you know, shakiness in the evidence. And one of the things the Supreme Court said that all of those, you know, events that happen, it's all smoke and mirrors. But the case is kind of smoke and mirrors. Then if you look at them convicting him as smoke and mirrors. So how could they say that part about the shaky evidence? It's not clear, it's not concise, it's everything against that law. So the legal system, we fight a lot of things. They fight on Capitol Hill for one of the things should be our corrupt legal system. I mean, we have one of the worst in the land. It's all about money and power. You know, you can get off for anything. It happens all the time. People who have the most money, whether it's athletes, anybody with high ranking, can do the same thing that a normal person does and get much less time, if no time at all. A football player ran over an illegal alien, but still a person that was laid out in the street drunk, and he ran him over, and he was intoxicated himself, killed him. He paid his family off, never spent it was less than a month than he did in jail for killing somebody.
Brandy killed somebody.
Right,
I don't believe
exactly.
she went to jail either. I love Brandy, but
right. Let me kill somebody, you know, in a car accident. I'm gonna, even if it wasn't on, you know, purpose, still.
you go to jail. That's vehicular manslaughter, if I'm not mistaken. And when you talk about the unfairness, when we get back, we're gonna talk about other cases, comparable cases, Casey Anthony, Oscar Grant, Sean Bell. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. And speaking on other cases with injustice, Sean Bell, which was a huge thing in 2006 when it was happening, a man that was shot numerous times. It was 50 times that was shot at his car, trying to get away. Didn't have any weapons in his car by unmarked police officers who may or may not have, depending on the accounts, identified themselves as police officers. But how do you let 50 shots go out into a car and not be armed, not have any shots in return, and then get off scot-free?
Scot-free. These men, 3 men, did not even serve a day in jail after killing this man on the eve of his wedding.
Yes.
The eve of his wedding. And then another case is the Oscar Grant case. In 2009, he was murdered by a BRT officer on the train. And the significant thing about this case is they got it all on YouTube. You can look at that tonight. The officer had this young man, I believe he was 19 years old, handcuffed, face down on the ground, on his chest, and shot him in the back on accident, is what he says. And I'll be honest with you, it did appear like it was an accident, but you're a trained officer. You don't have a gun to somebody's head or to their back if they're in handcuffs and they can't do anything to you. And then he killed this man, and he did have a little girl and, of course, a family. And he only got 2 years.
2 years.
So it sounds to me as though, you know, they say an officer's life, or they must feel that an officer's life is way more important than a civilian's life, but they're here to protect and serve us. So when they go against that, when they don't do that, when they kill us, they should go to jail, especially if in the same society, in the same day and age, a man who is accused of killing someone and convicted of it, but with not sufficient evidence, should not get the death sentence, not in 2011.
No, and people say, you know, all men are created equally. That's one thing that we live by, another one of our creeds in America. But that's not true. Like you said, a police officer's life values much more than a regular person. You have that case, forgive me for remembering the name, but in PG County, where the police officer, they had shut down one of the highways in Bowie, and he had got killed from somebody trying to get away.
Yes.
He hit him. That guy died, what was it? That night in jail. That night.
That was significant for me because that happened right across from my job, and they locked the area down. That was in Laurel. They locked that 197 and Conti down, and this boy, he was a boy, if I'm not mistaken, was strangled to death in his cell. What happened to that case?
Yeah, he killed himself. It was clear in the evidence that he did not kill himself. So you just you let that go. It's because the cops, the judges, the prosecutors, they're all on the same team. So how do we have this legal system